the Al Roker Television Studio, this is WTOP 10 News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jovan Enriquez.
And I'm Marlena Montero. Though the reliability of the missile is believed to be low, the Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency has said that North Korea has the ability to deliver a nuclear weapon. The Obama administration says that a test launch of mobile ballistic missiles could come at any time.
On the other hand, Pentagon spokesman George Little has said that it would be inaccurate to suggest that the North Korean regime has fully demonstrated the kinds of nuclear capabilities proclaimed. The development comes at a time of heightened tension on the Korean peninsula. A Cicero man stabs a woman to death and sexually assaults a child.
And the Child Advocacy Center in Syracuse is playing a part in the child's well-being. We will have more on these stories in just a minute, but first, a quick check of your weather outside with meteorologist James Gilbert.
Thanks, guys. It's a chilly 35 outside with a light breeze, so it feels like about 31. Today we only got to 41 degrees, which is actually 10 degrees colder than our normal average of 51 on April 11th. Nothing coming down from the sky right now, but we did see some snow and some freezing rain today, and that's actually going to continue overnight and into tomorrow. I'll have much more in my full forecast. I'm your Storm Team 10 meteorologist James Gilbert. Back to the news desk.
29-year-old David Renz is accused of brutally stabbing to death a librarian and sexually assaulting a child. Renz was arrested on March 14th after librarian Lori Bresnahan was found with multiple stab wounds. Investigators say he neutralized a monitoring bracelet he was wearing as part of his pretrial agreement in a previous child pornography case. Onondaga County District Attorney vowed on Wednesday that prosecutors would seek a sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
The McMahon Ryan Child Advocacy Center is making sure the 10-year-old who was recently sexually assaulted by David Renz is as comfortable as possible. The center is working closely with the unidentified young girl, dedicating one of its child advocates to take care of the girl's mental, emotional, and medical needs. The Advocacy Center is also taking the child on a walkthrough of the courtroom for her upcoming case, to which she will be the only witness. Advocates of the center say the child has been doing well despite what she's been through.
Defective airbags are responsible for $3.4 million vehicles that are being recalled. Models affected included Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Mazda. A Toyota spokeswoman claims that 5 incidents related to the airbags have been reported, but no one was injured. The airbags were provided by Japanese-based supplier and could inflate improperly. The companies are still preparing to notify customers as to what models will be impacted.
A Camden teenager, Taylor Mulvaney, is organizing a walkathon to raise money for his friend Elijah Walda, whose car spun out of control and was hit by a snowplow back in February. Walda was hit by a blade to the side of his body and is just learning how to walk again. Mulvaney, who was in the back seat of the car during the accident, is raising the money to make Elijah's home handicap accessible and to show appreciation to his friend. Doctors expect Elijah to walk after a long road of rehab.
Next week, Oswego State will be holding a production of the Vagina Monologues.
Josh Kay has more on the show.
Well, thanks, guys. Well, as James just reported a little while ago, the weather's not going to look too well this weekend. So here's something for you. Tomorrow night at the Hewitt Union Ballroom from 6 to 8 p.m., we have the Vagina Monologues. Now, these are an award-winning play based on V-Day founder-playwriter Eva Ensler's interviews with more than 200 women and about expressing themselves after using that word. It's a very empowering event. It's across the country. It's been played in many different locations. So that's something definitely to check out. Again, tomorrow night in the Hewitt Union Ballroom from 6 to 8 p.m. If you've got nothing better to do, I really think that it'd be something awesome to check out. For WTOP 10 News, I'm Josh Kay. Back to you guys inside.
It's that time of the year again in the Northeast when the bitter winter winds off of the Lake Ontario turns into warm spring breezes.
After weather like what we experienced today, it only makes students at SUNY Oswego enjoy the beautiful outdoors that much more. Oswego Sports Update anchor Blaze Hill has the story.
The feeling is incomparable.
Excitement. It's a good word to describe it.
It's something you can see on faces and hear in voices.
Euphoria.
You guessed it, we're talking about spring fever.
I am so happy. I hate winter. I just want to go out and sunbathe all day.
Although it seems at times like winter may never end, inevitably the snow melts, the weather gets warmer, and more students are looking for any excuse to get out of their dorm rooms.
I'll save the why and the how for our weather experts because for the most part, spring fever is a simple equation. Warmer weather and more sun, plus students trapped inside from a brutal Oswego winter equals more outside activities and exercise for things like baseball.
As soon as I smell that, like, you know, spring in the air and all different kinds of stuff, I just love getting out and playing baseball and just enjoying the weather.
The activities vary from student to student, but the motives all seem to be the same.
Well, I came down here for inspiration for poetry. It's really nice listening to the waves and watching them come in.
With finals right around the corner, as spring fever kicks into high gear, planning becomes even more crucial.
And the most important thing is you have the entire summer to be outside and to hang out with your friends and to play sports. So I think finishing up strong is the most important thing. Once the sun goes down, then it's time to focus on the work at hand.
And when the day does come to a close, it's nice to know it is spring, where the warmest days are still on the horizon. For Oswego Now, Blaze Hill reporting.
The longtime home of Oswego State's hockey is once again opening its doors.
A renovation project that started last year on Romney Fieldhouse is wrapping up, and Michael Keeley has more.
Although it's no longer the site of big-time Division III ice hockey, Romney Fieldhouse is once again becoming a functional facility on the SUNY Oswego Athletic Complex.
I don't think we could have asked for anything better. The only way it would have been better in my mind is if we had totally just tore the building down and started over.
The iconic Romney stopped hosting hockey games after the 2005-2006 season and sat dormant until a $2 million renovation project began in the fall of 2012. A year and a half later, as it opens for practice use, Sports Information Director Adele Burke says it's a much-needed asset for athletes.
You can only do so many weight room sessions, you can only do so many film sessions before you actually have to put it into practice.
Romney is equipped with a state-of-the-art synthetic track surface, pole vault and high jump facilities, a retractable batting cage, and protective netting. All of these features and more have Oswego athletes of all sports enthusiastic about having a full-time practice facility year-round, regardless of season.
Back in the past, we had to drive down to Syracuse about half an hour, 45 minutes away, trying to get some practice time just anywhere around that we could when it was a bad day.
For track and field, the problems extend beyond inclement weather. Sophomore sprinter and high jumper Josh Mayolo says the indoor track was a necessity for health purposes as well.
Well, we're actually practicing with the basketball team also practices, which is in the gym in Laker, and it was really unfortunate because it would just take a toll on our shins, and right now I just already see a difference.
The plan is for Romney Fieldhouse to have its grand opening by the fall semester of 2013, but the benefits are already proving the extensive project to be well worth it for Oswego State athletes. Reporting for Oswego Now, I'm Michael Keeley.
Coming up after the break, a circus elephant has been shot during a drive-by shooting.
And we'll take a full look at your forecast with James Gilbert.
Oswego MBA program helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Last night, Lori Capricuzzi scored 2 goals on Aliyah Brianlove.
Joe, get out. Adam, you're in.
Lori Korpikovsky scored 2 goals on Ilya Brizgalov. Got it!
Well, the weather has not been looking too nice around here. This morning my iPhone said it'd be 50 degrees and sunny, and it seemed to lie to me.
Yeah, it must have tricked you. I looked outside this morning and I saw snow almost.
So much of it too, and hail? And
yeah, it's more like sleet. kind of, but it's similar to hail. And I saw some buildup on some cars too.
Yeah.
Will we be getting it soon?
Well, let's see. Actually, we can check out right now outside. It's a pretty chilly 35. Real feel is 31, just because there's a light northeast breeze, 5 miles per hour. Humidity is 89% though, and that's pretty high, mainly because we did see a lot of that precipitation today. It did snow a little bit today, and we saw a little bit of sleet and rain. It was just overall a crummy day. We topped out at 41 degrees, which is actually 10 degrees colder than our normal average on April 11th, which is 51 degrees. Now around New York State, we have mostly low to middle 30s. 32 in Albany is our cold spot, 37 in Syracuse, 36 in Watertown. Behind me, New York City is a nice warm 51. Wouldn't that be nice if we are 51 degrees, which would actually be relatively normal for this time of year. Right now around the region, spotty showers in New York. We see a little bit of rain to the south in the southern tier, and then as we move a little bit north to Watertown, we start seeing some snow. The pink that you see is actually mixed precipitation, so that's what the sleet and freezing rain, kind of like the wintry mix, as us meteorologists like to call it. As we look further off to our west, we do see some rain that's creeping in to our area. Actually, right now it's creeping in just to Ohio and southern and western Lake Erie. If we jump out to our national radar, all this rain that we've been seeing today and we will see tomorrow has been forced by a really deep surface low right over the center of the Great Lakes. And that has produced a really strong cold front all the way down to the panhandle of Florida. And also with that, there's a stationary front that we see. And the stationary front is lined right along here, right to the southern tip of New York. And that stationary front, what it's been doing is it's been keeping the warm temperatures to the south of that and the cold temperatures to the north of that. So us in New York, we're kind of like stuck in early spring temperatures. Down in Pennsylvania, they're already starting to feel late spring and early summer temperatures. Now there are some weather watches and warnings, also advisories around New York. If we look to western New York, down here, this green is a flood watch. And if we move to the north of that, Niagara Falls, Niagara County, Erie County, those are actually flood warnings. And so mainly, let's say if you're going home and you live in western New York tomorrow, just really watch for some possible floods of rivers where there's a road and you have to go over the road and there's some water over it. We like to say, just turn around, don't drown. So if you do see some spots like that, be really careful. As we move further east in New York, this pink is a freezing rain advisory, but overnight the temperature should rise, so we won't have to worry about freezing rain. We'll see more or less rain once we get past midnight. And as we move further and further east, this blue where we are in Oswego County, Jefferson, Lewis County, these are winter storm advisories. Now luckily we won't really be seeing any snow because we're at a lower elevation, but over here in the Tug Hill, the elevation is much higher and they can actually expect snow because they'll be seeing much colder temperatures. What's been forcing it again is that low, and there's that cold front, and this warm front, which is also pretty much a stationary front, is giving us that mixed precipitation. But as the day goes on Friday, we are going to get a little bit warmer throughout. So this line where we see the mixed precipitation and the rain will move a little bit northward, so we can expect mostly rain tomorrow. So here's our futurecast tomorrow, 8 a.m. There's that line of rain and wintry mix. We are on the rain side of it, so we can expect mostly rain for your morning classes tomorrow. And as we go through the day, 2 p.m. tomorrow, the rain is slowly moving off to our east, but again, it's still raining. And that's really going to be the story tomorrow. As we move in tomorrow night, 8 p.m., more rain. So we can really expect a lot of rain tomorrow. Southern Lake Ontario, a lot of areas around here can expect 1 to 2 inches of pretty heavy rain, and that can be consistent throughout the day tomorrow. So Friday, again, rain heavy at times. Here, we could probably expect a little bit less than an inch, but don't take that too lightly. We'll definitely need rain jackets, rain boots, and it's going to be 44 degrees outside, guys, so it's also going to be pretty cold outside. Winds east 10 to 20 miles per hour, so it's really not going to be a very nice start to our weekend, unfortunately. Friday night, mostly cloudy. The rain will be tapering off. Pretty cold, though, 37 degrees. So it's going to stop raining probably by midnight, maybe a little early. We might see some dry patches, but don't get too excited. Saturday, partly cloudy, lingering showers. We might see maybe a glimpse of sun on Saturday. Wouldn't that be nice? Southwest 10 to 15, still significantly cold for the middle of April. If we look at our 5-day forecast, again, lots of rain on Friday, high of 44, high 43 on Saturday. We might see a little bit of snow shower Saturday night, but again, that's for mostly high elevations. And then as we get through the week, Monday and Tuesday, hopefully we'll start breaking the 50s and maybe even the upper 50s on Monday. Back to the news desk.
In state news, divided figures Dan Maffei and Senator Kristen Gillibrand are collaborating together to push back against President Obama's proposal to reduce scheduled increases in Social Security benefits. Obama says that cost of living increases could be trimmed by about 0.3% each year by switching to a measure of inflation. The political leaders say the president should reconsider his proposal in his 2014 budget blueprint to slow the growth of Social Security benefits in future years.
As part of Governor Andrew Cuomo's New Charge initiative, New York is looking for bidders to help install more than 360 electrical vehicles and plug-in hybrid charging stations. The goal is to create a statewide network of almost 3,000 public and workplace charging stations over the next 5 years. Cuomo's plan also includes putting up 40,000 plug-in vehicles on the road. Earlier today, the New York Power Authority issued a request for proposals to install the first 100 electric vehicle charging stations.
A circus elephant that was a victim in a drive-by shooting is doing okay. 39-year-old Carol was shot while on the grounds of Bancorp South Arena in Mississippi. Carol was struck on her neck between her shoulder and ear. Authorities are looking for a silver-white Ford Explorer seen in the area at the time of the shooting. A reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction has climbed to $24,000. Funds are coming in part from the U.S. government as Asian elephants are endangered. Carol will spend several weeks in Missouri recovering.
The suspect in the stabbing attack incident at Lone Star College in Houston waived his right to a court hearing today. 20-year-old Dylan Quick is remaining in jail under suicide watch, according to his attorney. Quick is charged with 3 accounts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The attack at Lone Star left 14 people wounded. The last of the 14 were discharged from the hospital on Wednesday. The incident comes 2 months after 3 people were wounded in a shooting at a different Lone Star College campus.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your latest sports news with Alicia D'Addario.
But first, here's a look at your late night menu.
Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
The second annual Oz Fights Hunger Games was this past weekend. Saad Banani has more on the event.
This week on Zooming In Oswego, we're going to be taking a closer look into the second annual Oswego State Hunger Games to end hunger. As you may already know, The Hunger Games is a popular movie based on the series by Suzanne Collins. As punishment for a past rebellion against the Capitol, one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 from each district are selected by an annual lottery called the Reaping to participate in the Hunger Games. Each participant, or tribute, must fight to the death in an outdoor arena controlled by the Capitol until only one tribute is left standing.
I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute! Our tributes, Peter Millar and Katniss
Last
Everdeen.
Sunday, the Campus Center Arena opened its doors for the greatly anticipated event. 24 tributes, a pair from each of the residence halls on campus, occupied the rink's floor, while eager spectators filled the seats. $4,000 was raised in the effort to end hunger. All proceeds and canned goods were donated to the food bank of Central New York. I was lucky enough to be selected as a tribute at the reaping weeks before the actual event. The anticipation building up to the event was killing me, and when the countdown went on the big screen, time felt as if it stopped. I blacked out everything around me, and it was one of the most surreal moments of my life. As you can see here, the start of the event was pure chaos. Tributes running in each and every direction, not knowing what to do first. Like in the actual movie, alliances were quickly formed between the other tributes. These alliances would then go head-to-head against the other alliances in an all-out melee. While others, like this tribute from District 6, decided to fend off for themselves as lone wolves. Here's some of the action to show you just how brutal and competitive the games were. Frantic sword fights and chases were the norm. The action-packed battle royale was intense to say the least. There was a genuine feeling that you were fighting for your life, an adrenaline rush like none other. The final battle was between District 9, Waterbury Hall Zone tributes Maurice Williams and Jennifer Hachi, but in the end, there could only be one champion. Maurice Williams literally left 0 survivors. Maurice fought his way through to the end, crowning himself Oswego State's second annual Hunger Games champion. I had the chance to sit down with Maurice and some of the other strongest tributes after the games, while we discussed the event and spoke about the anticipation, intensity, and some of the trash talking that went on during the game. If given the opportunity, all of us agreed that we would be more than happy to participate in next year's Oswego Hunger Games.
What an intense event.
Yeah, it was definitely really intense out there. You couldn't leave your back open for 1 second.
Were you in it for a while?
I was in there for, I'd say, about half of it. It didn't last that long. Last year's lasted over an hour, I'd say. This year's was more closer to 20 minutes, so it was a lot more vicious than last year's Hunger Games.
Everyone was way more into it this time.
Yeah, everyone was out for blood.
Everyone's way into it.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too into it, I don't know.
Okay.
And now a full look at sports with Alicia Daddario.
It was a physical back-and-forth match between the Oswego State men's lacrosse team and Potsdam, but the Lakers did fall short in a 10-11 in double overtime. The seesaw battle continued throughout most of the game until Potsdam Kyle Nicholas led the Bears to victory. Nicholas scored the game-tying goal and netted the game winner with 1:42 left in second overtime. While Oswego's loss was heartbreaking, the Lakers will look to win this Saturday as they host Geneseo at 1 p.m. Now moving on to some college hoops. Now that Michael Carter-Williams is off to the big leagues, Syracuse fans should get excited about his potential replacement in the backcourt. St. Benedict's guard Tyler Ennis is scheduled to play in the Jordan Brand Classic High School All-Star Game on Saturday at 8 p.m. He will represent the East Squad, and curious SU fans can get a preview of next season as the game will be televised on ESPN2. Ennis has officially signed with Syracuse basketball and will suit up for the Orange this fall. Now onto the ice. Congratulations are in order. 3 Syracuse Crunch players have been named to the AHL All-Star teams. The Crunch have dominated all season, and when the AHL released its All-Star honorees, their efforts were recognized. Center Tyler Johnson was voted onto the first team, while defensiveman Mark Barbario and right winger Brett Connolly made the second team roster. This is the first time in franchise history the Crunch has put all 3 players on the AHL team in a single season. Now in PGA news, the Masters kicked off today. Tiger Woods looking for his first major since 2008 as he gets his first round underway at the Augusta. And on the tee at par 3-6, Tiger hits a great tee shot here as he gets this one about 4 feet from the hole. He would go on to make birdie. Tiger finishes the opening round 2 under 70. However, Tiger is not the talk of the Masters. The 14-year-old from China, Tianlong Guan, youngest player in the field, and on 18 right here makes this birdie putt. From just off the green, he shot an opening round 1 over 73. The Masters will continue tomorrow for second round action. That's it for sports. Now back over to the news desk.
We'll be back in just 90 seconds.
But first, take a look at your community calendar.
We are the Tigers from Pet 885. And you are watching WTOP. Yeah.
Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Hollywood is turning to fans for production money.
The team behind Veronica Mars asked fans to help them make a movie version of the popular TV series. Maggie Lake looks at this new way of Hollywood funding.
The ship is out! It takes a pirate's haul to fund a blockbuster Hollywood feature. Some of the most expensive, The Last Pirates of the Caribbean, Titanic, Spider-Man 3, all had budgets exceeding $250 million. But a lesser-known film project is breaking a new kind of record. Yes, she's back. Veronica Mars, starring Kristen Bell, was a popular TV series about a California student moonlighting as a detective.
Seniors rule!
The show, which debuted in 2004 in the U.S., lasted 3 seasons, long enough to build a loyal teen fan base.
We've been waiting for this for 6 years, and it's happening. I'm dead. This is not real life.
Creator Rob Thomas hoped to bring this teen noir to the big screen, but Hollywood studios turned him down.
Well, I had gone the traditional routes and just hadn't had any success doing it.
He then took matters into his own hands.
Any suggestions, Rob?
Well, actually, I do have a few ideas. I say we have the fans fund the movie.
If we reach our fundraising goal, we'll shoot the movie this summer.
Tapping Kickstarter, a popular crowdsourcing website, Thomas rallied the show's fan base and within days exceeded its original goal of $2 million. One step closer to Veronica returning in a blaze of glory.
You guys, the Veronica Mars movie is actually happening.
It's happening all right, and Thomas has since raised his sights.
What are you going to do if you end up with much more than you anticipated?
We'll make a better movie. That's the first thing. Like right now, if the Kickstarter drive ended right now, we would not have enough money to shoot it in Southern California.
Or to put it another way,
that extra cash will be our car chase and nudity fund.
Kickstarter is also breaking new ground with this film. Veronica Mars has become the top-funded video project to date, and a sign the site is morphing from funding small indie art projects to a financing powerhouse. Investors who use Kickstarter don't get money, only something tangible, memorabilia, an early edition of the product, or invitation to opening night. And in the case of Veronica Mars, a chance to see their favorite character graduate to the silver screen.
A pony!
Maggie Lake, CNN, New York.
And before we say goodnight, here's one final look at your forecast with meteorologist James Gilbert.
Thank you, Marlena. Outside tomorrow morning, it's going to be pretty chilly, about 38 degrees. That's if you have a morning class anyways. Then it's going to warm up, slowly get into the lower 40s and top out at about 43 by the afternoon. And really the big story of tomorrow is going to be lots and lots of rain. There's areas south of Lake Ontario, actually, that could see 1 to 2 inches of rain. And the National Weather Service has actually put some flood warnings out for some of those areas.
Wow.
All right, looks like I'll be wearing my rain boots.
Yeah, definitely. Rain boots, rain jacket, and it'll be cold here, too. So.
All right. That'll do it for us here. For the entire 10 News team, I'm Jovan Enriquez.
And I'm Marlena Montero. Stay tuned for the rundown with Chris Lewan. Good night as we go.